New leader as the sun sets in Richmond. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front of Brian Vickers, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, Jeremy Mayfield. After 34 laps, just one quick caution flag. Junior having a very close look at the rear bumper, making the move inside, and Vickers gives him plenty of room.
Tell you what, I watched that 8 car in practice last night. You had a hunch he was going to be awfully good. This means now in 11 races, he has led 8 of them. That's 40 bonus points right there.
That's big. You got to remember that every week. You got to get those 5 extra points, lead the most laps if you can.
Dale Jarrett wishes he had a horn to honk at Casey Mears. Now Mears gives him room on the bottom of the racetrack. And DJ moves past as Mears continues to backslide now to 28th. One lap before that.
Locks up the right front, getting in the corner there.
His teammate Jamie McMurray in the 42 had to yank it to the bottom in a hurry to keep from getting in the back of him.
All these guys back here are yanking it to the bottom, Larry, because the leader is coming.
Joe Nemechek and Jeff Gordon. Nemechek just made the pass on the DuPont Chevy. That's for 6th place.
And nice smooth run. That 19 down.
Five seconds off the lead. He is Nemechek. Tell you, Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin, they've been having quite a race of their own that has included contact already. They run 9th and 10th, and not without incident.
No, but that cat right there behind him, behind Mark anyway, in that 16 car, that guy going by right there, we'll be talking about him before the night's over with.
I guarantee we will. He was so tough in that Busch race last night, ended up finishing 2nd to Kyle Busch.
Greg Biffle lacked just a car length of victory lane last night and said, I didn't want to have to hit him and move him because I don't want to win that way. I wanted to race him clean, and so I finished 2nd. Yeah, that's not a bad day at the office.
I really was impressed with the way he drove against Kyle Busch those last couple laps, because he could have put the bumper to him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. works under Jimmy Spencer to put Spencer a lap down, along with Hermie Sadler and Ricky Craven. Now pulls up on the 50 of Derek Cope. And Jeff Gordon trails Joe Nemechek there. Jeff in 7th place, Steve.
And Mike, as you just said, Joe Nemechek got by him. Jeff is saying his car is just a little bit tight when he picks up the throttle.
Here's our Singular Wireless Virtual Crew Chief question. Vote now from your Singular Wireless phone. Send text message FOX to phone number 191 or visit foxsports.com to vote online. And stay tuned for the results. Can Jeff Gordon three-peat? Win his 3rd in a row.
I don't know if he can or not, but I know here's one thing I do know. If you go a lap down at 43 laps into this race, you're going to have a long night. Man, he's got sparks flying out from under his car. Jeff does. Did you see that, Larry?
Yeah, and I think they're continuing to run these cars so soft in the front end, get the cars down on the ground. Talked about the new asphalt here. You see right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. lapping Casey Kane in the 9 car, but 29 cars broke the track record. That just shows you how much grip this new asphalt has.
That's kind of a surprise because Kane was very quick in happy hour in final practice, and he goes a lap down.
I just think, Mike, it shows how hard it is to pass. You know, he had all those cars he had to get around. He just couldn't do it.
Newman and Vickers keeping close company. This is for 2nd place.
Tell you what, pretty impressed with Brian Vickers in this 25 car. They came up here and tested, and I know after their test, they left here feeling awfully good about what went on in that 2-day test.
Guys, last night we got an opportunity to watch Kyle Busch kind of put everybody away during the Busch race. Well, right now, Kurt Busch is definitely making a march toward the front. He started way back in the field tonight, and he has just been steadily picking them off ever since he's dropped the green flag from 23rd. He's been coming to the front very methodically, just making passes about every other lap.
And you know, Jeff, even though this has not been one of his better racetracks, he's been the short track king. He's had 6 starts here with only 1 top 10 finish. He's only finished on the lead lap just once, as we have a battle for 3rd heating up with Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car underneath Ryan Newman in the 12.
We saw Kyle Busch at 8th place. This battle is for 3rd. as Dale Jr.'s in heavy traffic trying to put some cars a lap down. Still side by side there for third place. As your leader clears the Brendan Gaughan car and moves in on Robbie Gordon. 48 laps complete, only one caution thus far in the Chevy American Revolution 400.
Welcome back to Richmond. And a lead change here. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. We're on lap 56, battling for that top spot.
Well, right now you see Jimmy Johnson just went by Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he has been wrestling right now with Robbie Gordon for about the last 6 laps, and now he finally gets by Robbie Gordon, but that's after basically Jimmy Johnson took advantage of what he and Robbie were doing.
And Ryan Newman moving up to 3rd. He's yet to win this year, passing Vickers. Brian Vickers, the pole sitter, now running 4th. Vickers led a total of 14 laps in 3 races coming into this race, but he led the first 32 laps tonight.
But Chris, right now, watch Dale Earnhardt Jr. He didn't like what happened. He's trying real hard to get back by Jimmy Johnson. He felt like, hey, I was being patient, giving Robbie Gordon every opportunity in the world to give me a little bit of racing room, but look what happened. All of a sudden, he loses the lead, and now we got Ryan Newman getting by Newman and getting by Gordon. That is, closing in on Dale Earnhart Jr.
And our NASCAR race menu brought to you by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here. Next Saturday, live from Charlotte, it's NASCAR's Nextel All-Star Challenge, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, here on FX. Next Sunday from Nazareth, don't miss NASCAR Busch Series Racing, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, also on FX.
Right now, Kurt Busch also has moved up to 5th place, Chris. He's been coming very slowly, but very methodically since the drop of the green flag, I said earlier. He's right down at the bottom of that yellow line as we come up off the number 2 corner, off the number 4 corner and head down the front straightaway. But he really looks like he's got a car that's working really well. And
Dale Earnhardt Jr., as you mentioned, 2nd. His only short track win came in Richmond. He said he's always liked Richmond because you're going to run side by side. And that's a happy duo, and it makes him a happy dude. Mike?
Kurt Busch up to 5th from 23rd on the grid. That is quite a climb here in all the traffic. And Darrell, I'm as surprised as we were last night that this has become a 2-groove racetrack so quickly, and it's so raceable here.
Yeah, we saw that last night, but this racetrack, it's just the way it's designed. You slide up off the bottom just enough that you're going to open up another lane up there just by virtue of driving your car around here.
But I'm going to tip my hat to NASCAR for a move they made in the Busch final practice as well as in the Nextel Cup final practice. They put cones up and made them run the 2nd groove about half of their final practice. I think that helped the 2nd groove come in last night in that Busch race.
Yeah, that's all it really needs is to be used. You know, it sets up there, and if you don't get on it, it'll never come in.
Riding with Michael Walter right here. He just lost a position to Mark Martin in the 6th car. Michael's back in 11th, 12th position. This seems to be one of Michael's better runs here at Richmond. Started back in 18th. Had a pretty disastrous night last night in that Busch race. I don't know that he learned a whole lot for tonight.
No, he was in about 4 or 5 wrecks last night. It was a Waltrip Wallace show last night. Between Mike Wallace and Mike Waltrip, I think they were in about every wreck.
Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, and Michael battle there for 10th place.
That was probably because Rusty was in the hotel and I'm up here, and they brothers wanted us to talk about it.
We see those rotors really glowing on the front of Jimmy Johnson's car in the 48. That's out there in clean air with leading the race.
Well, you know, we heard him say he had a brake. They changed the whole braking system on the car. Appears to be working okay.
And he said he had a terrible vibration in the middle of the corner right before he got onto the brake. This right here is Greg Biffle's right front. You don't think these brakes are getting hot. This is down in the corner. You can see the suspension travel. But look, even on the straightaway, it does not cool down that much. But Darrell, I thought so much about this last night after the Busch race. We saw the same thing on Kenny Wallace's car. And what I'm thinking, and talking to some crew chiefs, the track has so much grip. They're in the throttle so much early. That makes the entrance speed of the corner so much greater. How do you slow it down? More brake. There we see our common denominator, Tony Stewart in the 20 car, qualified back in 28th. Now, he's moved up to 17th, but he's about a half a lap behind our leader, Jimmy Johnson.
But he's moving toward the front, and you see that on our Yamaha serial score. As we talked at the top of the show, a lot of drivers with fast cars did not qualify up front because of the vagaries of the brand new asphalt surface that sat in the sun for a couple of hours without any activity on it before qualifying took place. Some drivers ran hard, some ran too hard and paid the price. Some drivers took it easy, qualified back in the pack, and like Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart, are now moving forward.
Matt Yoakum, Tony Stewart seems to be pretty patient right now, even though he's fighting these guys for position.
The two champions working over for position, Larry and Mack. And I talked to Greg Zipadelli about 2 hours before the race. They made a number of changes. They felt like they had a good race car, but not a great race car. A lot of fine-tuning. In fact, they had some discussion over which gear to run for tonight. And Tony came on the radio about 25 laps ago and said, we made the exact right decision. The gear is perfect. The car is great. We're just going to slowly work our way to the front. Steve?
Matt, we're monitoring Jeff Gordon. He just told crew chief Robbie Loomis on lap 60 that he's experiencing a very bad vibration, and they don't know why.
And of course, I think the first thing these guys start thinking about when they feel a vibration this deep into a run at lap 71 is something possibly going on with my right front tire. We just saw Scott Wimmer, their 22 car, make an unscheduled stop.
But Larry, it's brake related. You get these brakes so hot and use them so much that you warp one of the rotors and it'll make the car vibrate really, really badly when you put your foot on the brake.
And I know one of the big fears was with the brakes getting so hot, it's cooking the bead of that tire right there on the rim.
Wimmer's the second driver to make an unscheduled pit stop. Todd Bodine was in about 6 laps ago. Casey Mears about to fall a lap down to Jimmy Johnson. Darrell, the outside car gets such a good launch off the corner that even when you have the preferred line on the inside, it's no easy task getting by here.
Oh, you just about got to use the old short track theory. 8 tires are better than 4. Kind of lean on that guy a little bit and shove him up there where there's not any grip. Then you can get right on by. But you got to be careful when you do that.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. closest to within half a second of Jimmy Johnson, your leader after 74 laps in Richmond.